to welcome everybody. First of all, I want to thank Kristen and Praveen back there. Booksmith has become the community center here in the Haight-Ashbury. As people know, I have a very rich fantasy life with very little grasp of reality.
Yeah, we do know.
And she cannot hear me. Okay. How about that?
Yeah.
So what happens, I come over with Kristen and share my ideas with her, and she says, well, that's a bad one, this is a good one, no on that one. And how this was inspired was David Talbot of Season of the Witch.
Yes.
My claim to fame now is I'm chapter 6. That's how I'm known at the Olympic Club. He inspired this. And the idea was that we would take key people and key issues from Season of the Witch and have a lecture series. There's a number of launches that are happening. For example, as I'll introduce later, Steve Heilig and I, my co-editor and longtime friend of the San Francisco Medical Society, co-edited an issue of the Journal of Psychoactive Drugs on all the aspects of marijuana, including the latest Blue Ribbon Commission. And he was on the Blue Ribbon Commission, as was Marcia. That issue of the journal was to be here today. It is not here, but the outline is there. The Haight-Ashbury Free Clinics, which I founded in June of 1967 during the Summer of Love, became deeply involved in the marijuana issue because everybody in the Haight was smoking marijuana. And that was at a time in which it was only supposed to be a certain set, and suddenly thousands of middle-class people started smoking marijuana. They came to our clinic. We did intake interviews. I went down to UCLA in 1967, and I said 97% of the young people that came to the Haight-Ashbury Clinic had smoked marijuana, and the other 3% probably didn't understand the question. I said, that's impossible. Middle-class kids don't smoke marijuana. So we, out of the Haight-Ashbury at that time, came this movement. As a physician, my focus is on health. And that was the beginnings of the field of addiction medicine. So that is one of the outcomes. And I mention that because in David's brilliant book, he also talks about Michael Stepanian and how...
Yes.
Hey, Michael! Tell me out!
And he said there was a movement started here in the Haight-Ashbury that spread to other neighborhoods and then to the world. And so out of that era came the founding slogan of the Haight-Ashbury Free Clinic is healthcare is a right, not a privilege. President Obama cited that as his slogan for Obamacare. Field of addiction medicine is now a board-certified specialty. Out of that era came the marijuana legalization movement. Whatever you think about it, it all started in this area. And it's interesting that it's part of the national dialogue in which the beginnings of those thoughts began in this little area. So what we want to do is to archive that historic information in our free clinic archives. We just started that. Bob Student is an archivist. Wave your hand, Bob.
No, keep me out of this.
I want to thank Lee Davidson and Raz, if they disappeared, anyway, they're back there somewhere, for their hard work on that. So we want to archive this information so there's an accurate reflection of history. One of the reasons I mention that is while we're getting up to scale on our free clinic archives, Bob Student's Facebook for Rock Medicine has basically served as that venue. That's how a lot of it was advertised. That's how a lot of you know there. And then, you know, Rock Medicine, which came out of the Haight-Ashbury Clinic. There was a medium, middle-aged deadhead. We're all old deadheads. Middle-aged deadhead said, "I didn't know the Grateful Dead were busted." So this is
That's a famous one.
important, accurate information, and that's the purpose of this. Now, one of the keys of this is we have to support Booksmith. Please buy their books. There is a business model. Yeah. Kristen explained their business model. I didn't understand it, but she has one. And it is based on that she has a certain number of book sales. It's a great bookstore. Please support it. We have up here our donation can. I hope it does better than it did in '67 when we got about $37 and several joints and a couple of hits of hash. One of the reasons we have that is I hope you will contribute to this Free Clinic Archives to keep this event going. If you do, you will get a issue of that, theme issue of that Journal of Psychoactive Drugs, which is supposed to be here tonight, but it's in a box somewhere up at UCSF.
Gee, that's a